Assassin's Creed Shadows is almost here, guys, and there's still Ubisoft bootlickers out there. There's an Assassin's Creed News X account that wants to remove grifters from gaming because why? They have an opposing opinion that leans a little bit right. And if it's not part of the woke echo chamber, it's got to be dealt with, especially if they make 1 penny of profit while doing so, right? We're not allowed to make any money at all, or else that is grifting. So we're taking a look at this article from the Fandom Pulse. And yeah, there's a news account on X that is by the name of Levy. I think that is. They made this post yesterday. I saw this making the rounds saying, enough, I watched long enough. I'm not going to let the grifters turn my hobby into nothing. There's no room in the AC community for racism, misogyny, hate, agitation, lies, and death threats. Everyone who doesn't stick to it will be blocked. It's time to reclaim gaming. Why are these people so adamant, so vile, so angry, and they lash out at anybody? If you dare question Yasuke, if you dare question Ubisoft, if you dare question anything about this game, you're automatically labeled one of these people. Even if you're not racist, even if you're not misogynist, guys, if you dare go against the grain and say, hey, Yasuke wasn't a black samurai, they will call you racist for that. Just because it's this whole identity politics fascination that these people from the left have. And this literally is the game that will break the straw on the camel's back, and it will backfire. And you know what the narrative is going to be. It's going to be all these racist, right-wing, rage bait grifters were the cause of it. And this guy is losing his mind. Now, there's people replying. You can see Mr. DevDev said, what if there are people who just don't like the fact that a company refuses to respect a culture and its history, but isn't trying to promote racism, misogyny, hate, etc.? Which is a honest question and serious. If you look at that petition that came out not too long ago, there was hundreds of thousands of signatures on there of people from Japan that felt like this game disrespected their culture, and rightfully so. There was a lot of things that are wrong with Assassin's Creed Shadows that, for example, disrespected families, like the one-legged Tory, that statue that had the one-legged Tory. That's literally the one-legged Tory from the nuclear bomb. Imagine how distasteful that came across. On top of that, the historical accuracy, and I know that this is a historical fiction and there's some changes to stories and timelines and stuff like that, but you had a whole Japanese culture upset to the point where it was taken to the Japanese diet. The government saw this. This game has been dead a long time ago. Nail in the coffin. The delay, for a 3-month delay, has just caused so much more money that was spent that doesn't go into Ubisoft's pocket. We talked about yesterday how there's an 85% market cap decrease. The stock is down by 40%. I don't remember the exact numbers, but guys, this is terrible. But of course, Assassin's Creed News says if you say it in a normal way, it's fine. They move the goalposts. There's no such thing as a normal way with these people. If you say anything against the grain, they will be upset about it. Now, looking at this article, this says it's a tactic admission that it is Ubisoft, the developer of Assassin's Creed Shadows, who's promoting and pushing much of the things the account accuses so-called grifters of doing. The evidence of Ubisoft doing so is very long. First, the company worked with author Thomas Lockley to promote the idea that one of the game's main characters, Yasuke, is a legendary samurai. We already covered Thomas Lockley. We covered his books. We covered the interviews. And he lied. He tried to say that he had no involvement with this game or has never ever talked to Ubisoft when he was on a podcast literally giving history of Japan and Yasuke. This guy is probably the main reason why Yasuke has been put up onto this pedestal of being some legendary hero, some legendary Japanese icon, and it's caused this huge divide to where even the Assassin's Creed subreddit is blocking people that are daring to question or debate or talk about Yasuke's actual historical significance. Keep in mind, there's next to nothing about him. So it feels like this story is actually a little embellished. And the fact that he's a person of color is why the woke media, woke Lockley, woke Ubisoft are trying to use him as the main character in this game. Do I care if there's a black male as a main character in any video game? Honestly, no. But that can't be his best trait. That can't be the main trait. And with Yasuke, that's literally what it is, the black samurai. It's literally identity politics being shoved down our throats when they could have just made a fictional character. Even if it was a fictional black character at that point. But no, they're using this Yasuke individual who's already being used by the woke media as some kind of like legendary hero, which I feel is very tone deaf with Japan. And we've covered this for many, many days, many, many videos on my channel. Now, this goes on and talks about how this claim is heavily contested with Japanese historian Yushi Goza, and pardon me if I pronounce that wrong. My Japanese names aren't that great, informing the Sankai Shimbun, saying there are very few historical records about Yasuke, so it's difficult to say. The history of Yasuke has not been the subject of much research, in part because the history of personalities is not the mainstream of historical studies, right? So it's basically saying he wasn't even important enough. Like, sure, there was descriptions of Nobunaga giving him a sword, a house, and he was treated as a samurai, but that it appears that he was just a retainer. So who knows? Apparently, in my opinion, I think that if he was really important enough, we would have had a lot more historical document, a lot more historical things out there, statues, you name it. But there's just not enough here. I feel this is definitely just a narrative that has been created. And of course, Ubisoft's going to jump on it. Now, continuing, Gozar from Ghostbusters said, also, if even he was a samurai, he may have been a formality. For example, in the Edo period, feudal lords who were fond of sumo had their own personal wrestlers. Formerly, they were treated as vassals or samurai and allowed to wear a sword, but even if a war broke out, it was not expected that feudal lords would allow their retainers to fight on the battlefield. So he basically, in a nice way, a noble way, saying he was a servant, maybe even a slave to a lord. And it's changed. Now, going on right here, it says, when asked about the armor that Yasuke is depicted wearing in the game, it says Japanese people around Nobunaga were surprised by Yasuke's dark skin and seemed to be interested in it. In a sense, it was a show, and having a black man like Yasuke so close to him would attract attention and show off his power. So basically, it was for show. He had a purpose, was to show off to everyone that he had Yasuke, a dark samurai, because there was not too many dark-skinned people there. It says it's written that Yasuke was powerful and could do a few tricks. They believe he was in fact Nobunaga's bodyguard and entertainer. He was not the samurai warrior that Westerners imagined him to be, slaying one enemy after another. Even if he did fight, he did not command his men, but worked as a single combatant. Mark Alexis Cote, who is the executive producer for Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed franchise. If you guys remember, he said that they wanted to go beyond what's accepted truth, that they want people to be passionate about history, and said, what does that mean? Stay true to well-documented moments and historical figures, but not shying away from having a critical point of view and defying cliches and go beyond what's accepted truth. So they're wanting to, I guess, have this historical fiction thing that we mentioned, but at the price of DEI, the price of getting woke points, guys. And I know a lot of people claim that normal people don't give a crap about this, but it's facts, guys. And the main issue why I have a problem with this is that DEI trickles down. It starts with the heads of the studios, and it goes to the developers, and it goes to the community, and it goes to the journalists, and it just invades everything. This isn't like where random rage bait grifters crying about something we made up from air, guys. A lot of people don't want this stuff in their video games, and these people that come in with these woke ideologies are just trying to shove it in our faces constantly and make us comply. And naturally, people tend to not do things that are forced on them, right? I'm not racist. I'm not misogynistic like this Assassin's Creed News X account claims. I just want stuff to not have any kind of ideology in it. I want good games. And every pattern that we're seeing here with Assassin's Creed Shadows is that it's more focused on the DEI stuff than actually making a great game, or else they wouldn't have had to delay it. They wouldn't have had all these issues. There wouldn't be this much backlash. Like, they're literally trying to embellish on a character that has no actual legitimately historical background. I mean, to the point where they had to write this apology that you see right here on Twitter saying, based on the constructive criticism we've received, we'll continue our efforts until we put this game in your hands. And that there was concern within the Japanese community. I mean, they offended a whole country, and they're trying to stand by. They doubled down on creative liberties. I mean, just look at everything that was wrong with their presentation with this game and how they're coming out with it and how they're dedicated to DEI efforts. It's just way too much red flags, guys. And you have people that are stooping to these bootlicking lows that will label you as hateful, label you as racist, and it's just a mess. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.